Hi traders, and welcome to Trading Talk episode 124. My name's Matt and I'm one of the senior traders on the desk here. In today's episode, I'm going to be referencing the indicator which was provided to webinar attendees and also for anyone else who wants to be able to get it. There's actually a link in this email where you can purchase it. Essentially, it was developed by ourselves and Dr. Tom Starke. He did a recent webinar with us with IC Markets just a couple of weeks ago. An awesome job. We love Dr. Tom's work. And he was discussing alternative entries. So in this episode, I'm going to show traders how to reference that indicator and actually automate it into a system. I'm going to be covering two different markets that we can look at. This is version 1, and I'm planning on doing a mini series in the next few versions, and we can build on it from here. But it's a really cool indicator, and I plan on using it in some of my own models from now. So anyone who's got access to EA Lab and the program, you can actually learn how to automate this kind of stuff as well and test and find out what works and what doesn't. Wrapping up the Algo Trading Conference, we're literally just over a month away now. 30th of November, Melbourne, Sofitel Hotel on Collins. Cannot wait to see everybody there who's already got a ticket. For anyone who doesn't, you've literally got to give us a call today. We're down to literally the final 5 seats now for the Algo Trading Conference. So single digits, and it's coming up in just over a month. I'm saying less than a month. I'm that excited about it. We've got the guys coming from literally all over the world. I'm welcoming some guys from Norway, from the UK, South Africa, Singapore. So can't wait to see everyone there. And anyone who wants to grab the final few tickets, give us a call today and we can definitely organize that with you. Speaking of wrapping things up, the trading competition, significant prizes on the table. They're going to be handed out in just over a week's time. Horvat Puzak has been at the top all year pretty much. He looks like he's not going to be beaten, but can someone make a final last-ditch attempt to be able to get there? This will be the final Trading Talk episode until the prize has actually been won. So next week will be the 1st of November. The competition's finished. So anyone who's still on that leaderboard or is thinking, they're in there, have one last chance, trade this week, see what happens, see what Brexit comes out with, and see what you can end up with on the leaderboard. That's pretty much it from my end for this week's Trading Talk. Can't wait to speak to you all again next week. I look forward to speaking to you then. All the best with your trading.
Hi traders, and welcome to Trading Talks episode 124. Before I get started with today's episode, the risk warning as always. This presentation is provided for information purposes only and therefore should not be regarded as financial product advice. We are going to show some testing results in here, and that is back testing only. So pretty much simulated, meaning performance results have certain limitations. They're not an actual performance record. So simulated results do not represent actual trading. So just be aware of this when we are doing the back testing, and for yourselves too. Okay, let's get stuck into today's Trading Talk episode. So my name's Matt Shirtcliffe, one of the senior traders on the desk. Probably familiar with myself by this episode. I'm going to be looking at alternative entries. So we recently did a very good and useful webinar with Dr. Tom Starke, who's a hedge fund quant from Sydney. We loved working with him at last year's conference, and he did a great job presenting for the webinar we did recently with IC Markets. And we shared an indicator in there called, it was an alternative entries indicator. In fact, there was a bundle of around 5 different indicators. And the idea of them all was that we can start to look at what's happening elsewhere in the markets to then be able to trade off another market. Tom actually expanded that. He said he was looking at absolutely crazy things. If anyone hasn't watched it, by the way, it's a great watch, and you should find it inside your systems building program underneath the YouTube button. The recording of it is actually in there, so you guys can go ahead and watch that if you haven't already. It'll be very useful. But essentially, the indicator actually looks at what's happening elsewhere on other markets, so you can reference another symbol, and then you can basically look to generate the signal in any given market. So there's a few ways that we can use these indicators, and it's cool because they're actually visual on your charts, so you can see and look at them. So we'll bring MT4 up in a second. You could use it in a way of trading, for example, a pair. I'm going to do that in this episode when we're just building a version 1 here, guys, and I'm hoping that we can continue this as like a mini series. Appreciate Eddie's done the recent mini series, so I might follow this up with some more additions onto the model, because it's just a starting point on this episode. But yeah, a way you could use it, you could, for example, look at maybe like the dollar index on MT4 with IC markets, and you might look what's going on the overall US dollar strength, and then you might trade off the US yen, US CAD, pound US and euro US, all based on the dollar index, which is the DXY. Or we could look at like the S&P 500, which is pretty much the whole US stock market, and then you might say, okay, well, if we've got RSI divergence occurring on, let's say, the Nasdaq, the Russell, and that's bullish, whereas the S&P has had, let's say, a down day or something, we can trade on the basis of what's happening on the S&P, because that's the main market over there. So there's just a few different ways you can use it. I'm pretty much going to get stuck into the build. It's not a too long of an episode, but this was the indicators list that was shared. I'll show you how you can get the indicator if you haven't already been able to access it. So it's available to you guys. It's $9.95. I'll show you where to find that in a second. But essentially, yeah, I'm going to reference these one of these indicators. I'm going to use the RSI today. That was just on the basis that I had an idea and I thought RSI might work, but there's actually an RSI divergence in here too. So you should be able to use the ATR, MACD, momentum, and stochastics. So there's a few different indicators in here for you to use. This is the model. Without further ado, let me bring open my EA Lab and let's actually build this. So I'll show you how to reference the indicator in here. So we'll grab our if count. So the two markets I'm going to be looking at in here, I'm going to look for some correlations. So I know there's a pretty strong correlation between the Aussie dollar and the US CAD. Now I'll let everyone do a bit of research on that themselves. You can just literally Google correlation between USD and Aussie dollar, or look at it on your charts, even better, and then you might learn some stuff from that correlation. It's actually got a negative correlation, very, very strong correlation though. So you'll see when the US dollar is US CAD is essentially going up, you'll see that the Aussie US dollar is pretty much going down. It's a really, really high correlation, very strong, but negative correlation, so they're moving in opposite directions at the same time. So with that in mind, my idea was simply, okay, well, if we get, for example, an RSI on the US CAD which is less than 30, then I want to be selling, because that's saying the US CAD is oversold. So then it could be saying that the Aussie dollar is in an overbought kind of position. It could be time to actually sell the Aussie dollar. So that's what I did. So we're going to if custom, and then this is how you reference the indicators. So we're going to need to word for word do it the exact same as it is on MT4. So we do TVI_sim with these exact capital letters, guys. Make no mistake, you can't do any lowercase here. Parameters is like this. So we get our apostrophes, speech marks. Sorry, these ones. Yep, speech marks. And then 14. Mode is fine. Shift 1, and then like I said, if this one's less than 30, and then entry, we sell. And then we're gonna. Okay, so that's it. So we then we're going to be trading on the Aussie dollar chart, but this indicator is looking for the RSI on the US CAD essentially, and then we're selling on that basis. So then we'll select all the long and shorts, and then I'm going to duplicate this because I'm going to say if this symbol now, if we get a greater than 50, this is the exit. So you can see, guys, I'm not really done too much on the exits. This was literally just a quick build. This is why I keep things simple, just come up with a basic idea and put it to the test. So that's how to, first and foremost, that's how to reference these indicators. And yeah, I've just built it into something pretty straightforward using logic. I'm thinking Aussie dollar US CAD as a correlation. First thing that comes to mind. Let's do the RSI. Could do the, test all the other ones as well and create 5 different versions of this and put all that out. So already downloaded this. I'm going to go straight to my MT4 and be able to bring it up. So this is what it should look like when you put it onto your actual charts. So what this indicator is actually doing here, guys, is this is the US CAD. So in the inputs, when you drag it onto your charts, you need to select the actual the symbol that you're going to be using. So I did the US CAD, of course. You press OK, and then that appears on your charts now. So even though it's on the Aussie dollar chart, this indicator is now looking at the RSI on the USD CAD. So, and that's it. So we downloaded it, exactly the same. Aussie dollar is what we're testing on. I've just gone for the H1. I've just selected the previous, I think it's around 5-6 years. Just a random test. Let's put it to the test and find out. So we do that, and we can see we've got some pretty positive results. I mean, just on the basis of that, we haven't added a buy side, we haven't done anything else at this stage, we haven't tweaked any of the settings, we haven't changed the periods, we haven't really thought about a trade management, we haven't thought about entering 2 trades or building into position. Just the basic version. This is what I want to see. So I've got something that's looking pretty positive already. So as an initial test, I'm very happy. This now means that this idea has got great validity to build on. So this is why I'm quite excited to build on this further inside next week and maybe the week after's episode. So I'm going to work hard on my end to develop this further, and I hope everyone can stay tuned to see how I progress with this. Maybe we keep using the RSI, maybe not. If anyone else wants to have a go at this, by the way, in the meantime, within the next week, get back to me with some ideas of their own, and I'll give you a shout out in next week's video. And yeah, send me away your ideas too, or what else you've been able to do with the indicator. I'd be quite interested to see. Well, that's pretty much it from today's Trading Talk episode, guys. What I do want to bring up in just 1 second is just finalizing tickets, literally down to the final few now in single digits for the Algo Trading Conference. So I'll just bring that up here on my end. Well, 9 tickets, single digits. There's actually been a few more gone today, so probably a bit less than that now. The website needs to be updated. So anyone that's been thinking about coming, definitely come. Dr. Tom came last year, so he did a great job, and I'm just so excited to see these guys live. You know, Hyam Bodek, he's actually never been to Australia. He's going to be showing you the behind the scenes of a market. I mean, that's super cool stuff. Not everyone even knows about that, never mind knows how to trade off it and make money from it. So he's going to be sharing that kind of model, and the other guys are absolute legends as well. So, you know, I'm incredibly excited to have the opportunity to meet these guys and also learn from them. So anyone who's not coming, get yourself down here. Still a few tickets left physically, so anyone who's, you know, been thinking about it, now's the time. If ever, it's in a month and less than a half away, and just over a month now. Get yourself involved. Let me bring up my presentation again, and I'll wrap up today's video by saying thanks so much for watching, as always. I look forward to speaking to you all next week. Anyone who hasn't already got my contact details, here they are. Give me a Skype message, give me an email, and I'll be excited to see what you've been able to put together as well. Look forward to hearing from you all soon. Have a great day. Bye for now.